Sul Sul Seers, and welcome to SeeJamieSim. I'm Jamie, and today we're going to be working on day 6 of our starter home challenge. We are in San Myshuno today, so I hope you are ready. And here we are, just going to jump into it. So firstly, we definitely need to clear out this place. This is the smallest apartment in the world, so we are just taking out everything for the family that's there, and I'm going to be doing as much as possible with our $20,000 budget, just like we've been doing. So yeah, this is day 6. So if you do want to do this starter home challenge yourself, you are building on the smallest lots with the starting 20,000 simoleon budget. So smallest lots, $20,000 simoleon budget, and we're building in each world. So here we are selling everything, and then we adjust the money. And this one is a little cheaty because you do get the walls and stuff. But I decided that since this was a starter apartment, and I remember my starter apartment, that we would be, it would be crumbling, not quite as nice as it was. I mean, when you're paying bottom dollar, you get bottom dollar looks. I didn't change the layout just because, you know, when you are moving into an apartment, you can't change the layout or add walls or anything. So I kept it the way it was, but I did change the paint on the wall just because I wanted it to look a little more realistic or grungy, depending on, you know, your first apartment. So here we are. I'm just kind of spinning, and I know that we're going to use the worst stuff just because no landlord is paying for you to have the best stuff. So they'll give you the cheapest stuff possible. But I did change the window height, I think, just because it didn't match. But here I am giving, yeah, the kitchen really ended up being nice, even though it wasn't, you know, perfect. I actually didn't like that curved spot there. I didn't think that was realistic, but I did put in just a bar to sit at. I think it always makes my apartments look a little bit more complete when I do that. And there wasn't a lot of room for like living room, and so I decided that we're gonna do a bar here instead of doing a dining room, just because the dining room adds a lot more expensive stuff. So here, and I decided here why it's a little bit wild in here is because they are artists. So, and I was like, what kind of artist? I hadn't quite decided yet, but you'll see as we get into it that I decide that they are musicians. So I just like the idea of like two musicians kind of living together, hanging out, all that stuff. So yeah, I have no idea if they are in the same band or if they are in different ones. And so anyway, but you know, whoever lives below them is going to really have a time of it, I think. Because I know that if I lived below musicians, I would hate it. Unless they were really good. You know what? I could get behind somebody who is really good. But yeah, we are, and I thought that was also a good way to bring in a bunch of skills, was if I had this little idea in the back of my head that they're musicians, so we're gonna spend the extra money on their musical instruments this time. Give them a little bit of entertainment with that computer because we can afford it, which you'll see 20,000 simoleons goes real fast. So I know I changed the layout around this living room about 5 or 6 times before I ever make a decision. So, yep, here's our musician stuff going in. And I do keep it, but I don't keep it there. and singing, and I think I add a guitar a little bit later just so we can have a good variety of skills. And here we are getting our bed. It was really, really tempting to get maybe the cheapest bed ever, but your Sims just get so uncomfortable and whiny when they have like the most uncomfortable beds, so I didn't do that. I do get them some fancy end tables. This is a pretty eclectic house just because I assume that they are just getting stuff either that is reclaimed or given to them by their parents or their grandparents. Those kind of apartments, that most of us have enjoyed. I like to picture that the curtains that I end up with came from their grandparents' house. So, and they're really good for noise cancellation. I do end up keeping these, but I think I change a little bit of it just because, I just want it to look lived in. That's really the whole point of all of these houses, right? Is to just look like you could walk inside and live there. So here I am just adding some more stuff. I go with smaller little ones here just to keep in with my like brain canon that it was given to them by their grandparents. So there's that. Mostly because you do need curtains when you are living in apartments because it looks straight into your apartment from the other apartment building, right? Like that's super uncomfortable. And I go with another set of these same curtains just so I could have just because I really thought they added a lot, and I liked the length they were for what they were. It really shows off that really terrible wainscoting down at the bottom. Here we go, moving the stuff again. I think this is where I end up with it though. But I do change it around, over and over and over. And then I'm like, well, do I want it in the bedroom maybe? Yeah, you'll see. I change so much over and over and over again. And then I'm like, well, what am I going to do with this small space since I'm not going to do a dining room? But don't worry, we figure it out in the end. We figure it out. And then I'm like, okay, where's it all going? What are we doing? Back to the basement treasures, I think, just because that junky couch is just perfect for all this. Yeah, you can see I'm angling this numerous times so I can kind of get an idea of where exactly I want this coffee table. And the coffee table kind of reminded me of the table with resin in the bedroom, so I decided to go with that, picturing that they got it from the same person. Maybe that's their whole deal. And then I'm like, well, maybe one is a musician and one is a gemologist, which now means I have to move all of this again. Oh, don't worry. It is going to happen over and over and over again. Yep. This space is so hard to work with. I've actually built in this apartment before, and I had troubles with it then too. So there we are, and that's where we decide to keep it all because it was a lot, and we ended up a little more than 2,000 simoleons, so we're gonna add just some rugs and other things. trying to find the perfect sized rug with the perfect color, you know. And, you know, I figured that's also recycled. So I start building this up before I decide that not my favorite, because what am I going to do with this space? And so I just start fiddling with stuff, and I know that we need a bookshelf, because every Sims build needs a bookshelf. So so I'm cracking on with that and decide to go with the really, really cheap one, or the cheap looking one, just because it cracks me up every time. You know, just having like an old broken bookshelf, I would cry. I mean, I grew up with having just like plastic bookshelves and kind of bent bookshelves and bookshelves with water damage, but I had so many books that they were just all in my bedroom. So I give them a little reading area here, which is important. You always want to have a little bit of a reading area, right? And I love having my stuff angled. The not having it angled is always really problematic, I always think. And geez, is that light bright. I literally cannot. I love that rug with the bed, but it didn't look good with the curtains, so we have to change it. And I think that's what I decided to go with. Like, because I knew I wanted a conflicting pattern, but I didn't want the colors to really mess with you. So I get rid of that, and I put like maybe a little poster up here of maybe one of their friends, or, you know, somebody who crashes on their couch. Just, you know, that kind of fun stuff. And now we are doing the above, and I hate it because the wood swatch looks weird against the top of the cabinets there. So I change the colors completely. Change it completely. And I hate that you can never get them to snap where you want it to go. It's so annoying, isn't it? If anybody has a tip on how to do that, I would love to know it, because it doesn't let me alt place it where I want to. And here we are at 861 simoleons, so I'm trying to get a little bit of clutter, just because in these lately, I've not really been able to get a lot of clutter in. So apparently all of my Sims are the most responsible with their stuff. So then I decide we are gonna go with another color. And I was like, what would be terrible? And I was like, what would be hard to match? And that's usually where I go if I want to do kind of sketchier apartments. And so I decide to go with this pinkish purple, and to build a cabinet and all that good stuff. And I always think here at the end, as I'm looking it over, that I really want to do some new stuff in the bathroom and put those in there. But anyway, if you guys are liking this build, please like, comment, and subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. It really helps me a lot. And it keeps me going, gets everything finished. Yeah, so we just are doing a bunch of contrasting colors, and here it is. I really, really appreciate you guys being here today. I do stream on Twitch under SeeJamieSim, and I stream on YouTube on Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And you can find me uploading videos every Tuesday and Thursday. Yeah, so here we are doing the final touches. Just putting in some plants, trying to spend that money down to zero as much as we can. yeah, so we pretty much have it, and I take that out. And I put in a record player since they're musicians. The end surprise, putting in the record player. So anyway, here we are with our pretty much finalized stuff. Just adding some finishing touches. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you would like to see another video, go ahead and click Want to See More. You can find me on Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube, all under SeeJamieSim. Thank you. Bye-bye.